Michael, you're now going to have a look at the Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship quarter-finals. First up, we're going to have a look at Sarsfields and Cashel Kincormacs. What a game lies in store here.
Yeah, certainly, Stevie. This game is it was supposed to be the first part of a double header in Holy Cross, but the second one has been after move. So 2:15 in Holy Cross, Thurles Sarsfields and Cashel. And I suppose similar to Thurles in the senior, they've gone about their business very, very cleverly with no fuss. 3 wins from 3, Stevie, coming into it. Beat Newport in round 1, 27 points to 214. Borlahan in round 2, 24 to 18. And we're never really in trouble, led the whole way through. And then had a big win over, I suppose, mid-foes, Clonakilty, 290 to 212, a game that was always tricky for the Sars. They've had 12 scorers throughout the championship so far. Tommy Maher top scoring for them with 15 points, 6 from play. Keith Loughnane there with 11 points, and Rory Purcell with 10 points. Cashel, on the other hand, I suppose, very mixed in the group stages. They needed the preliminary quarter-final last week, and what a game we got in Dundrum with a huge crowd there on Sunday, coming out on top against near neighbours Borlahan, 122 to 118.
Surely to God, it must be the biggest crowd we've seen in Dundrum for a long, long time.
Yeah, absolutely. The county board definitely were very happy that was the pairing and the way it turned out. Like, huge crowd, as you said, brilliant atmosphere, I will say, and brilliant hurling as well. Anyone that was in Dundrum or saw it on Clubber. Cashel, I suppose they started with a 1-point loss in round 1 to Gortnahoe. Keane Hayes getting a goal after in injury time to put Gortnahoe ahead. They came back and had a very good victory over Mine in round 2, 319 to 19. Probably struggled for a lot of it until they got the first goal, and once they got the first goal, they powered ahead. And then a cracker here in Clonolty, actually, Stevie, once again with Éire Óg, 25 points to 316. Ger Brown coming on late in the game to score the goal to level up the game. So they finished in third place, one win and a draw, and went into the prelim, as we said, beat Borlahan. Devin Ryan is top scoring for them with 30 points, 224. Owen Connolly, 17 points, 7 from play. And then Ross Bonner, 15 points, all from play. Stevie, he was at midfield the last day against Éire Óg and still managed to get 3 or 4 points from play and contributes in every game. Real top hurler for Cashel. Thurles are averaging about 25.3 points a game, while Cashel are 25 points. So nothing between the two of them in the scoring. I would think that the game last weekend against Borlahan will bring Cashel on a bit, but they'll have to really be at the top of their game to get over Thurles, this Thurles side, who they were, of course, beaten county finalists last year in a replay. These two teams, actually, they met in the intermediate final, and both teams were promoted back around 2018, 2019, so would know each other fairly well, although there is a big turnover of players. Find it very hard to call, Stevie. If it ended up being a draw, I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, it is finished on the day, but yeah, a real exciting game in Holy Cross.
Up at Just Strongban will be taking on Éire Óg and Acarty. This game 4 p.m. on this coming Saturday. Kilcommon is the venue.
That's right. This game changed to Kilcommon because of the novena in Holy Cross and the stewards that were needed. Éire Óg, of course, they topped that group that Cashel were in. 2 wins and a draw. Very good win over Mine Templetuohy in round 1. Got a very late winner, Shawnee Ryan, a goal that put them to put a point up on Gortnahoe in round 2, 218 to 217, and then that draw with Cashel. So they topped the group on 5 points. 13 scorers in total. Aidan Griffin, 19 points, with I think 16 of them coming from frees. Derek Kelly, I suppose would you call him the wonder child? He's not a child. He's 18 or 19 years old, but I mean, he's really performing very well. Has 13 points in total in the championship, 1-9 from play.
Seems to be the standout hurler this
year,
doesn't
absolutely,
it?
And seemed to love playing against Cashel. Actually, did very well again the last day, and we were here, Stevie, when Clonolty played the West final, and he finished that day with 113. So he really is on fire. Dinny Cross as well. Scoring well, 7 points, and Dara Mooney tips in he's got 6 points throughout the 3 games, and actually missed a penalty then in that Cashel game. the Church came into this championship as favourites, Stevie, and I suppose they won the mid fairly easily, and you thought maybe this was, it was going to be a bit of a procession, and then they met the Swan in round one, went down 117 to 115, and that really threw a spanner into the works for the Church. They did bounce back with a good win over Silver Mines, 123 to 115 in round two, and then they had an easy victory, 419 to 15 over Ballina in round three. Maybe the loss to the Swan in round one was the kick that they needed. But they haven't been overly impressive. They do spread the scoring around a good bit, and it is the Ryans, I suppose. Pat Ryan, they're a former county minor, 3-4 from play. Gavin Ryan out of centre back has 11.7 from frees. Paul Ryan and Aaron Ryan. Aaron Ryan has 8 points from play there around the middle of the field in the half forward line. Real good player for Upper Church. Again, I suppose the one thing you would say about these two teams is that their work ethic is what they kind of build their history on, and what we know of Éire over the last 10-15 years is that they don't ever give up, and look, the Church will probably go into it as favourites because they're favourites for the championship, but I would not be one bit surprised if Éire came out, and they love, I suppose, being an underdog out in Anacarty.
They seem to play their best tournament.
Play. You're dead right, and like Brian Fox was man of the match the last day against Cashel. They've had Conor O'Brien as man of the match before. There's no go backwards in those guys. Real good club people, and if anyone saw the interview with Brian Fox after that Cashel game, you know what hurling means to them in Anacarty.
So. Certainly would. Michael, we're going to continue now on to Sunday. St Mary's of Clonmel, they're taking on Gortnahood Lingool.
Yeah, double header in Clonolty, Stevie. First one up, 2-15, Mary's and Gortnahood. Mary's, I would say, surprisingly three wins. I don't know, is that very fair to say surprisingly, but they got the 3 wins. Beat the Tracy's 120 to 14. Beat Burgess 118 to 212, and beat Killinall 115 to 13 in the round 3 game. That was a turnaround from the South semi-final where they had lost by 10 points to the same opposition. Gortnahood, they were also in that group with Cashel and Éire. They finished second. A team that I suppose they lost one game by a point. They won 2 games by a point. So I suppose they're able to grind it out when it's coming down the stretch. They beat Cashel by a point, lost to Éire by a point with that last minute goal, and they beat Mine 21-20. So Mary's have had 12 scorers, Gortnahood 11. Mary's score about just under 21 points per game, while Gortnahood score 22.3 points per game. These two teams meet quite a bit. They've met, I think, for the last 3 years running, Stevie. And look, I do have a fancy for Gortnahood. Mary's got through the group stages without, obviously, the injured Seamus Kennedy and James Morris. But when it comes to knockout hurling, you need all your players and all your experience. And the Gortnahood have been around these stages for a long time, and they're a running team that can score goals. And I just think that if they do get a run on Mary's, that they'll win on Sunday.
Next up is going to be Carrick-Spun, and they're taking on Burgess.
Yeah, Swan. They topped Group 1. They topped it after the second round. They finished the group stages with 2 wins and a loss. That loss coming when against Silver Mines in round 3 when they had the group topped and played a lot of juniors. A lot of their good players didn't play. Callum Lanigan got no game time in that game, and he'd been a revelation in the first 2 games. They beat Upper Church, as I said already, 117-115 in round 1. They beat Ballina 318 to 119. That meant they topped the group, and then they lost to the Mines 122 to 23. They have a good spread of scores, 16 scores, which is huge scoring in their team. Callum Lanigan 16 points top score, and they score just over 23 points per game, which is a good tally. Burgess, they I suppose had the win of the first round, beating Killinall 222 to 219, very good game. They lost to Mary's then in round 2, 212 to 118, and then they had a good win over the Tracy's 416 to 117 in round 3. 11 score. Stephen Murray being their top scorer, 31 points, and is a real big deal for them, and if Swan can get a hold on Stephen Murray, they'll go a long way to winning the game. Stephen Corwin also adds a lot to them. Johnny Milqueen is a big loss. He had scored 1-3 in the championship from half back so far, but he is suspended for this round, which is a big loss to Burgess and the way they play. I find this one very hard to call. I think a draw could be on the cards here, and I would nearly say draw full time, draw extra time, because I just can't pick a winner between the two of them. But a real good game in store.
Thank you for that, Michael. We're now going to go over to John O'Shea. John, you're going to have a look at the Intermediate Hurling Championship, the quarterfinals, and of course the first one up is going to be Ballingarry taking on Keekums, and after that Moneygall and Portrue.
That's right, Stevie. Ballingarry and Keekums Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Good year so far for Ballingarry, South champions there. Before that they won the Division 3 of the league, beating Moneygall in that final there. But I have to say Moneygall would have been missing the couple of lads on the county panel there. But nevertheless, Ballingarry followed through there, won the South, and came through the group. Keekums on the other hand there have a mixed year. They were beaten in the semi-final of the West. Came out in, won a couple of games in it, and the last day against Moneygall down in the Rag, they stayed with Moneygall for long periods of time, and it was only just coming up before half time there they got caught for a goal by Moneygall just on the stroke of half time. A real bad time to concede a goal. But they came out in the second half and they fought back and came within 2 points of Moneygall, probably around the 50th minute. But a couple of late scores again from Moneygall had a run out easy victors. But nonetheless, Keekums are the finished runners up in the group there. But it's a hard one to call again, because these games last year, Ballingarry were sort of fancied, and they went out in the knockout stages. I think they went out to Golden. Or definitely, no, that was in the round 3 of the thing. But Keekums are there on merit, and it all depends how they will face up to this. They have got back some of their players that they were missing early on in the season. But I wouldn't be surprised there if Keekums there pulled one over on Ballingarry on that one, Stevie.
Okay, next up, Moneygall and Portrue, all north.
Yeah, an all north game. Moneygall, who are, I suppose, probably favourites to win this out this year. They were surprisingly, I think, knocked out last year, but they were beaten in the final, I think, the year before that. So they are knocking around a while, and they won the North rather easily this year, and they've come through their group very well. Portrue, on the other hand, they put up a big score in drawing with Drummond in round 1, but they're probably under pressure coming into this game on Sunday. Now, I know they have a few lads back that they hadn't on early on in the year, but nonetheless, I think Moneygall will get over this one, Stevie. That's on Saturday again at 5 o'clock, Stevie.
Okay, we're going to move on to Shannon Rovers, and they're taking on Kappa White.
Yeah, Shannon Rovers there recovered well from. They got a bit of a hammering in the North semi-final earlier on this year, but they recovered very well from it, Stevie. Came through the championship. Putting up some good scores there and good wins, and they are where they are on merit there. They topped their group. They come up against Kappa White. Kappa has a mixed year this year, They were beaten in the West final there by Golden. Came through the group stages there, and surprisingly beaten by Ballybacon in round 2, but recovered sufficiently there to beat Clonalty in the final round 3 game there, and as a result there they finished second in the group. It's going to be a very, very interesting one, because as I said, Shannon Rovers, I suppose at the start of the year you wouldn't really have given them much of a chance, but that's hurling the way it is, and to the recovery they made. I think Kappa has it all to do on Sunday. This match is in Newport, but they have it all to do, but I think they're capable of doing it, and a small bit of luck at all, and I think they'll be in the last 4, Stevie.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next one. Borrisicane taking on Golden Kilfeacle. Yeah,
Golden, I suppose, beaten finalists last year by Borlahan 3-15 inside in the stadium. Turned their season around there probably during round 3 of the knockout, and came through the quarter-final and semi-final and beat some good teams along the line, but it was probably a step too soon for them. They came out this year, done the business in the West there, brought that forum into the county championship, beat Ballybacon, Clonalty and Kappa White in that group, and I think they were a young team there. Now they were playing the other night, they were beaten in the West Final, the under-19 the other night by a strong Cashel outfit, and there would be a lot of those lads playing in it, but I think they're probably, they're good enough, I think, to get over Borrisokane, who last week defeated Drum in a preliminary quarter-final, having won the Drum, I'm saying, having won the mid, and Borrisokane probably drawn the short straw as a group runner-up there. So I go for Golden in that one, Stevie.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you both for joining me again.